Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Black Friday sale on the premium list that's going to end tomorrow. So if you want to lock in the low rate, make sure you do so. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and jump in. Ethereum's now trading for over $4,300. I've been pretty adamant for the last 6 or 7 months that sometimes we have to go through these fairly boring phases in the market where the valuation of Ethereum is more or less just going to trend sideways for a while. Look, I know people are getting impatient. I hear you, but also keep in mind that we've essentially turned a prior FOMO price into a relatively boring price. Okay, so there's a lot to be said about that. We went to $4,400. It was a FOMO price. I mean, again, we went up about 2x in 2 weeks at the very end, from around $2,200 up to $4,400 in a relatively short period of time. We had a lot of FOMO at the time. If you go look at the short-term bubble risk on ETH, you can see we were fairly extended. Okay, we were fairly extended. Came back down, consolidated for a while, and now we're sort of just riding the line above the 20-week SMA, riding it above the bull market support band, which we're not getting too far extended from, which, as I've said before, is a good thing, right? We don't want to get too far extended from it, because then you normally have to have a pretty big drop in order to kind of compensate for people wanting to take profits when it gets too far extended from that shorter term moving average of the 20-week SMA. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Now, we should talk about a couple of things. I mean, we did a video the other day talking about these long-term, trend lines and whatnot. And I mean, again, look, you can't take them to the bank, but they have worked out relatively well so far. And so, I mean, if this trend line's ultimately going to hold, then we only have a few more weeks before we really need to start pushing higher. Sometime in early 2022, you would argue that we really should be starting to push higher by that point if we want to maintain this uptrend. Okay, but again, as I've said before, we know that you can get these periods of sideways movement, right, in a bull market, right? Long periods of sideways movement in the past. So that's not anything new. Now, it's interesting, if you go look at the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation and you look at the, say, short-term bubble risk on Ether Bitcoin, meaning the extension from the 20-week moving average, it's not very extended right now, right? So it's sort of relatively calm. Not a lot of people are experiencing the FOMO of Ethereum. It's not like it's going to 0.1 just yet. I mean, I do think we'll make it there, right? I do think we're going to make it there, but we have not made it there just yet. You should know, though, if the Ether Bitcoin extension from the 20-week moving average, comes back up to these levels up here, 100% extended. As you can see, if we were to take a measured move from the 20-week SMA up to that peak, we're talking about 100% above the 20-week SMA, more or less. If you see that again, do be very cautious, because that sort of stuff is not usually sustainable for very long, and then we have to come down for a while. Fortunately for us, we more or less held that bull market support band as support. Okay, we held it as support more or less on a number of different occasions. So when I look at this, I say, I've said before, right, this cycle should lengthen. We should have a long ways to go. I said back in April and May, we're going to have a 3 to 6 month flow. We have to have a long consolidation period, but we do know that historically speaking, buying Ethereum in Q4 tends to work out relatively well the following year, especially if we're in a bull market. All right. We'll see if that works out again, but these are some charts I've presented in the past. And to just give you a sneak peek again of the premium list, we have a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you some charts though, that you'll have access to. All right. So if you go over, this is one of the chart dashboards that we have. If you actually scroll down to Ethereum, one of the things we can look at is the average monthly ROI. Okay, and you can switch this to 90 days. And look, I mean, buying Ethereum in December tends to be pretty good, right? Buying it in November tends to be pretty good. Buying it in the summer, it can give you okay returns, right? But even then, I mean, if you bought Ethereum back in May, June, and July, I mean, look, the returns have been somewhat okay. If you bought it back in May, then you're essentially looking at around the same prices, maybe slightly higher. Obviously, if you bought it in June and July, you're looking at maybe about 2x, 2.5x or so. Historically speaking, though, it's interesting because a lot of times the 90-day ROI scales up as you go into the end of the year. meaning in October on average, your 90-day ROI is 1.86. Buying it in November on average is 2.38, and then in December it's close to 4. Now, I don't think that Ethereum is going to go up necessarily 4x in 90 days. This is an average which takes into account price data for Ethereum back when the market capitalization was much lower and it was a lot easier to move the market. But what it does show is a general trend that buying Ethereum as we head into the end of the year historically works out relatively well no matter when you buy. We also do know that it really works out well assuming that we are in a bull market, which, I mean, of course, should go without saying. And you can switch this over to various time frames as well. 180-day ROI December tends to be the best month. 30-day ROI, it's more or less a wash. 365-day ROI, you can see that January and December tend to be the best times to buy Ethereum historically. So I just wanted to give you guys sort of a sneak peek here of the charts that you'll get when signing up for the premium list. And listen, I just wanted to go through it again because you're going to get a lot of stuff. I don't really talk about a whole lot behind the curtain, but you get access to these. You get access to the risk dashboard, which is what I use to figure out trading and whatnot and long-term shifts in the market. It's not meant for day traders. If you're a day trader, this is not for you. But you get access to the charts, the weekly. We have 2 premium videos each week. We have a newsletter each week. We have a Telegram alerts channel where I put out voice notes on what I'm seeing in the market. Lots of discussion on things I don't talk about on the public channel. So make sure you guys check it out. If you want to lock in the lower rate, you can do that. Look in the description below or in the pinned comment, and you can sign up for the Black Friday sale. That's ending tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow is the last day in order to sign up. So if you've been waiting to do so, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that. And then also you can follow along on some of the other charts we have, like the Ethereum ROI from say the market cycle bottom. If you shift it to 2020, or if you just want to use the bottom, you can do that as well. I like to shift it to March of 2020 so we can kind of see where we are. Sort of a double bottom at the same ROI level that we had last cycle. But again, we're seeing diminishing returns and very likely, in my opinion, a lengthened cycle. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the Black Friday sale on the premium list. You can find that in the description below as well, or in the pinned comment. Thank you for tuning in, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.